Hello programmer, in this lesson you are going to learn about math header in C. I have created a file name called math example. You can name it anything, doesn't matter. Here I have created the basic structure as usual just to save the time. So far we've been using this header called stereo.h, which basically stands for standard input output header. And this basically provides us a lot of library functions like printf, scanf, get character, put character, so far that we've been using, right? So if we need to use this kind of library function, then of course the header file needs to be included in the C file, okay? Now this time we are going to learn about a new header called math.h, and of course the name refers what basically it does. It helps us with some mathematical functions, so it has some built-in mathematical function and we can use them right away if we include this math header, okay? So let's start. So there are a lot of functions available there. Let's say if I name it some of them square root. So you know what basically this is going to do. It's going to find out the square root of the number that we are going to provide inside the parentheses. Okay. Then we have some other function like power function that basically going to help us to get the power of something. So let's say x to the power y, you want to find out that. So you can just give it like this, x to the power y. Okay. And there is some other function like to find out absolute values, logarithms, rounding function, exponential function. So a lot of functions there. So let's start anyway. We can start right away. Here, let's say I'm going to create a variable called number. And let's keep the number as a 7. And then we can do some like here, maybe 49. Let's put it like that. And then straight away we can find out the square root of this number. And we know what is the function that we need to use. So we can use this square root function. Let's do that. We can print straight away. So we can print here %d, let's say square root of something. So it makes more sense. Square root of then the number. Here we can give the number, just we can print out the number with the help of %lf because we are using double for the very first time maybe. And then let's print out the number here again with %lf because the result will be in double anyway. So here, then we are going to print out a new line. Now the first %lf or the format specifier is responsible for printing this number itself. And the next %lf is going to find out the square root. So here we are going to use the square root function. Inside the square root function, we can provide the number. That's all. So we are not using extra variable here, even though we could. We are printing them straight away. Here we're doing the operations. Okay. So let me run this program and let's see what happens. Here, if we run this program, it's running. And then we should have our result here very soon. Just a moment. And there you go. Now it says square root of 49. And then we have this number. Now we can use maybe 0.2lf here just to print out only 2 point after the decimal point. Okay, 2 places after the decimal points. All right, let's run it again and let's see what is the result we are getting here. So here I'm running the program again, and this time we're getting only just 2 decimal points. Okay, fair enough. Now if you do not want to just to print out here straight away, maybe you can create another variable here. Let's say double result, and then we can just cut this square root number and put it here. And then of course semicolon is needed there, and then we can maybe just print out the result here. So this is something also possible. So inside the printf you can do some mathematical operation, or maybe you can do it outside and then just print it inside the printf. That's completely fine. All right, so hopefully you know how to use now math.header, and from the math.header you can use a lot of functions like this. Now let's continue. Maybe this time I'm going to find out the power of x to the power y. So let's do that here. Here I'm going to create a variable, let's say a, and we can name it like we can give a number like 4. Then we can create another variable here, let's say b, and we can give another value here 3. Now this time I'm going to use of course integer here because these numbers are completely is going to be like integer anyway. And then here we are going to find out the power, and here let's give a comma b. So that's how you can use this power function. Okay. And now we are going to print out a to the power b here. So let's say a, then I need the 2p symbol here, a to the power b, and then I can print the result here. That's all. Let's run it and let's see how does it work. Of course, if I want to print out the result, I need %lf, or I can use %.2lf. That will make more sense again. the result will be in integer anyway, so we can use integer here. There is nothing wrong with that, right? In this case, we are going to use %2d. That's all. Of course, there is no need to use %.2d because we're not using any decimal point values here, right? So in this case, I'm going to just print a new line. That should be all. Let's run this program and let's see what happens. If we run this program, we have a to the power b equals 64. Now, if we want to print the value for a here instead of a, then we can use %d, right? There's nothing wrong with that. We can do the same for b. And in this case, after the comma here, we can say we want to print a, then we want to print b, and then finally we want to print result. That should be all. Let's run this program again and one more time. Let's see what happens if we run this program. Now just let's run it here again, and now we have the expected result that we are looking for, right? Okay, so far so good. We can find out the absolute number of something. So in this case, we can use ABS, absolute, and let's say the value of a is -4. So you want to find out the absolute value of something. So that's why here I can just pass a, and let's say absolute value of something. So absolute value, and then let's just print only result this time. Okay, so we are looking for the absolute value of a, which is basically -4, absolute value of -4, and the result should be in this case just 4, right? Now here's one more thing I need to mention. When you are using this absolute function, you might get error even if you're using math.h. That's why you can use standard library.header here, standard library.h, just to get rid of the error. And then if you run this program, surely it should run. Let's run this program and let's see. Here we have the absolute value 4, right? So hopefully things are already making sense. Then you can use some logarithm function like log x, then those kind of things, log 10, you know. So let me just show you here. You can use log of something to get the value. Let's say here I'm going to get rid of this one. I do not need anymore. So let's say here 5, and if you want to get a log of 5, you can just run it like this. Now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to just spend too much time. I'm going to get rid of this kind of things from here, also from here, just to keep simple and run our program several times. Okay, let me get rid of these things from here as well. So far we have been using some of the function names. Just to mention here, square root, we have seen how this one works. We have seen how power function works, and then we have also seen how the absolute function works. This time we're using log function. We can use sine, cos, those kinds of function as well. I'm not going to spend time too much here because you can check by yourself for sure. So you can use sine, cos, tan, those kind of things. Okay, now also you can use exponential function here, so exp, and then something inside the parentheses you can put. Okay, then there is some other function maybe we can use. At least here I'm just thinking ceiling and maybe floor. These are the two functions I'm going to, or also you can use round function as well. So let me just put it like this, round. So round of something. If you want to find out the round of something, let me just put it here straight away. So let's say I want to find out round of 5.6. All right. And what do you think, what will be the result in this case if we want to find out round of 5.6? So since the number is greater than 5.5 or something, so in this case, it will be 6 here for sure. And if we have, let's say something like this, 5.3, so it's not reaching to 5.5. Even I can do it like this just to show you. If I put 5.5 here, let's see what happened. Okay, so if I run this program, then probably it will be easier for you to understand what's basically going on here. So as you can see here, this round function is giving us some error here. And why is that? Because they return floating point number, double point number. So in this case, if we want to receive the double point number, we need to say LF everywhere for sure, because that's for the double point format specifier. That's what the double data type. So here I'm going to put LF, and let me run again. Let's see what happens if I run this program one more time. Hopefully this time we will get the right result. And there you go. We have 6 for the first one because that's how it goes to the round point for 5.6. And if it is below 5.5, then we have 5.3 basically, and that's why it is go down, and that's why the round number is 5. If it is 5.5 or greater than something, in this case it will go to the next integer point, which is 6, and that's why we have 6 here. Now if you want to see the result only to 0, if you do not want to count after the decimal point, then you can just put here 0.0, because we don't want to see any decimal point value after the decimal symbol. So here I'm going to run this program again just to show you the output, And there you go. You can see the output here. Okay. There are two more functions that I want to show you, which is called ceiling and floor. All right. So let me just delete this one. And then here I can put any number just to show you, let's say ceiling. Ceiling is the function that I want to use, and then 4.2 here. Let me give you a quick example. And before we moving to the next one, I just want to show you first the ceiling. So how the ceiling and floor things work. So if I go and draw somewhere so that it will be easier for you to understand, let me go back. So ceiling means at the top, you're going somewhere. Let me go all the way down here. Okay, fair enough. So the number we have 4.2. Let me just put it here, 4.2 somewhere. Now ceiling basically refers to the top, right? So in this case, what is the top nearest integer number? So after 4.2, we might have 4.3, then we can have 4.4, we can have 4.5, and this will continue, like let's say we will have 4.9 at some point, and the top nearest integer number is 5. So in this case, it will return us 5 if we run this program, because we are looking at the top, which is the nearest integer point number. Okay, so let me run this program and let's see what happens if I compile it and run it again. And there you go, it returns 5. Now if you use floor here, what do you think what will be? So in this case, it will go down and looking for the nearest integer number. So again, now we are looking for, we are going down, right? So in this case, after 4.2, we have 4.1 and then 4, which is the integer number. So the nearest down integer number is going to be 4 if we run this program. Let's see whether we are getting the right result. And there you go, we have 4. Now let's say what happened for 4.5. Let me run this program so that things will be easy for you to understand. So here we have for 4.2, it's going down. For 4.5, it's going down. Even let's say if you use 4.6, it's going down. 4.7, it's going down. So you are going down to the nearest integer number. That's what it matters. So hopefully you got the concept here of some of the things that I wanted to explain about math.header, and they make sense to you. Now you can play around with these kind of things, and which is completely fine. Now that you realize how to use math.header, I want to maybe show you some of the mathematical expression that you can convert into C program.